Environmental experts are predicting that climate change will have catastrophic impacts on agricultural production, thereby threatening the livelihood and survival of indigenous communities in Belize. Red Plus coordinator Bevington Cowell says that the various indigenous groups, which include the Mayas of the South, the Yucatan and Cachimaya, as well as the Garifuna people, are all reporting significant changes in weather patterns, thereby pushing them into uncharted territory.
When it comes to farming, they have seen, this significant change in the weather pattern. Like 15, 20 years ago, they could have known, okay, we're going to plant this date because we know the rain's going to fall this date. And the same thing goes, the dry season. But now it has shifted significantly that they can't really understand when it's going to rain.
The important really anong gili ka farm anak because awut para awun na aran sa ka farm nako kasi na kalal ka hol
li tiempo na cuando kilom mas chiklisate mas chiklana na kukla utaran moko usta chik na nakil dikutan ko kanak naka kiech kimilkip tento kadyal ka kechis rilbal halbal o kaunak aran nakeka pero nakukla liha nahtawasiwi chiklika awim.
Well, it has affected the Garinagu people because we live in coastal communities, and so with the erosion and the floods, it has affected our crops. It has affected our way of life. Also, the loss of marine life has impacted, the fisher folk. We tend to be, the sea and the land in Dangriga. The erosion has gotten terrible that there were recent efforts to try to save the area behind one of the schools because the water had been reaching the building.
While coastal communities are trying to adapt to climate change, the Forest Department and their partners are doing their part by protecting the forest not only for indigenous people but for all Belizeans. Data from the Forestry Department in Belize reveal that the country presently has 61.75% of forest cover, with 40% of that number under protection, while an average of 0.7% is being destroyed at a national level by either deforestation, forest fires, hurricanes, logging, agriculture, and expansion.
Well, in a global scale, forest is what basically absorbs carbon dioxide. And climate change is a result of extensive carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, changing different temperatures, looking at different extreme droughts, extreme weather patterns that change over time, causing global warming.
The indigenous communities, however, have been using traditional knowledge that have been passed on to them for generations. Those include rotating farm grounds and areas that they do laundry, harvest leaves, water, and sticks.
So, within the southern communities, we find that they have specific areas and they have been working sustainably. It's only when persons come in and try to abuse those resources, then we see the problems. Because in general, the communities, they're not there for profit. They use the resources just to survive.
Chief Climate Change Officer Dr. Lennox Ladden says that climate change has not only affected food security in these indigenous communities, but have also had a ripple effect on social and cultural norms.
Climate change is here to stay. We're trying our best to mitigate, to adapt, to build a level of resilience within our communities and within the country. But to say it's getting worse, it might seem that way, right? Because you're looking at more intense storms, you're looking at extended drought. When it comes to rainfall, that in itself is more intensive.
Through the REDD Plus project, we have been trying to, bring awareness and have meetings and sessions in our communities so that persons are aware of the reasons why they are seeing some of these changes. I mean, we see things happening, but we don't always know or understand why.
But while the global fight against climate change continues, Belize has joined in the REDD Plus initiative created by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The initiative is to guide activities in the forest sector that reduce emission from deforestation and forest degradation, as well as the sustainable management of forests and the conservation and enhancement of forest stock.
We have been going out into communities doing outreach, and I go in and I sit, and it's amazing to hear that, you know, when we first start, we never think about how we will impact. We just do what we think we need to do. But today we are hearing these communities approaching us, asking us if we can assist them in replenishing, because they're not seeing their waters anymore. Their creeks are drying up, and they have realized that they need the trees in order for that cycle to continue, for water to be restored into their environment. They are finally seeing the connection between tearing down all the forest and just having the rotation of crops. So their eyes are opening up.